The beats about to flip, this world ain't getting better, so we can strive. So come in, and welcome to a humble abode. Boogie monsters, back beats and rhymes in the mold. Say the drama for your mama, karma on hit the road. It's time to get on down, with that God sound. So come in, and welcome to a humble abode. Boogie monsters, back beats and rhymes in the mold. Say the drama for your mama, karma on hit the road. It's time to get on down, with that God sound.
I was born in Alaska, transported to Virginia. I'm born from the true origin of the North Shore, a small child. My father making moves from military, battling heads on only basis with props. My life's scary. Never let a brother fall into this mold, but everywhere I go, it starts another episode. Dig it takes a real strong brain to remain in the places I've been. World's oasis and sin, I saw choppers and gangs, missiles and mags, like rolling on me crack, just pressure on rap. But everywhere I go, yesterday to tomorrow, these episodes when we need to kill the drama. Word.
Come in, and welcome to a humble abode. Boogie monsters, that beats around the road. Say the drama for your mama, karma on hit the road. It's time to get on there with the God sound. Come in, and welcome to a humble abode. Boogie monsters, that beats around the road. Say the drama for your mama, karma on hit the road. It's time to get on there with the God sound. Yes, y'all moving to the beats. You can settle down on this.
Now when you rewind the sound, I gotta bring down the scale.
She said she loved me, this be. She said she loved me. She said she loved me, this be.
She said she loved, but this to be what you mean for this to be addicted to all. It doesn't care.
She said she loved me, this be what you mean for this to be addicted to all. It doesn't care. It doesn't revolve for the rain, heartbeat for the rain, for the heartbeat, the rain, for the heartbeat, the rain, for the heartbeat, the pain, the heartbeat, the rain. I live in the own world that I make believe. It's never enough for the wouldn't hurt to be right. This is only the symptom, only the fascination, only the PTSD with the live reminiscence that holding me down for this to be the only dear sentiment for what you call the name for the constant terror. Stains for the fan for the soaking through the soul for the lost, for the city, the hell for the trapped in the thoughts, for the triggered by the friendly sounds of the panicking look. Their eyes need the present for the falling into darkness and punctuated by the bright strap for the mind lost in time. I war with the own call, flash back for those who torture souls, just wanting to save us from the fear, for the pressure, for the enemies that never seen, for the ones who distant counters, keeping you carefree. Your thought for the concern for the all that they do for the blame for them, for the sacrifice of their eternal destruction. Hold them close, let that fight for these enemies be the memories for the demons and try to defeat them. After all, for the all missing, they must move for more, for the appreciation of whatever it takes and where their freedom is, they lie. Nightmares, after all they did for the unseen, for the monsters and adversaries who never met, they would know all too well. You be that for the dare, for the simply, for the dirt, and absolutely for the despising of you, for the acting if you cared at all, for the love with the vows and if you call me for the body and me for the damn, for all I know for the ignorance and you kill the cat. That curiosity is bliss. Walking through the alley with us maintained, but full of rats, it doesn't really matter anyway. Republican, Democrat, for this is dim. Damn if you vote, damn if you do, damn if you don't, for the only the rain is so beautiful. And she said, I can find no windows of the face, and when you tell me to the midst of the gods and hearing that all the crushing with the fun, the vanish of the smile, you know you find a desolation with the exile. Request me to sing a song for the hero, hearing that for the half of the cup for the tongue, and tries and groan. But it's the other half of the rest of the piece and finding my leg and bones. And when you tell me, see this moment, love for the hearing the idols and try to open your empty orbits. No grief, salty tears, no more for the seat for the barbets. This is what's to be want to be heard for the feeling of a boy when I was in there. Not for this to be the left, for left to be the clean, for not to say there for the window to the attic, and you can follow the closely to them for the mattress in the middle of the room to let you lay with. Play down for the pulling of the covers into your bodies and let them in for the kissing of the lips and not the consent. Act to sit next to, next for the sitting for the weeks and not to kept the roping up my butt for this to be the consent for the what you have and find it inviting me not to say yes, but we didn't continue finding stuff for the pulling out for the pants, pulling down. This is the fourth down, what you can find the pain is the only third grade for never to trust that for the base off of the real events. It would be not to be heard. Demise of the soul, they get to become more predictable than the self, and this is the only for the times I weep for the laugh and feeds and harm with thousand thoughts and half of the weakness inside of a bubble, the easy to pop and strength of the faith in the way for the dying crop. You can vacate the house with the hiding and the members of the getting down, deformed for the falling in the debris for what you can find. Hush, door crease, peek into the past and where you can find a head for the knowing to where it leads, not afraid to die now. Darkest with the home of the dead and I envy the woman, the plan to save to see me. Safe place. Grass sending itself like a helicopter with the wind howl. Bending trees and torso tracking and making changes. Never thought that for the world could be because of your laugh. The wind could hide the pale eyes and breaking into your smile. Please.
She
said she loved, but this would be what you mean for this to be addicted to all. She said she loved, but this would be what you mean for this to be addicted to all. It doesn't care. She said she loved, but this would be what you mean for this to be addicted to all. It doesn't care. It doesn't revolve for the frame, heartbeat for the rain, for the heartbeat, the rain, for the heartbeat, the rain, for the heartbeat, the pain, the heartbeat, the rain. I live in my own world that I make believe. It's never enough for the hurt to be right. This is only the symptom, only the fascination, only the PTSD for the live reminiscence of holding me down for this to be the only dear sentiment for what you call the name for the constant terror. Stain for the friend, for the soaking through the soul, for the loss, for the scenery, the hell, for the trapped in the thoughts of the trick about the friendly signs of the panicking look. Their eyes leave their present for the falling of the darkness and punctuated by the bright shrapnel for the mind lost in time. I war with the own call, flashbacks for those who torture souls who just wanted to save us, for the fear, for the pressure, for the enemies they've never seen, for the only distant counters keeping you carefree. Your thought for the concern, for the all that you do, for the blame for them, for the sacrifice of their eternal destruction. Hold them close, let that fight for these enemies be the memories for the demons who try to defeat them. After all, for all they say they must do for more, for the appreciation of whatever it takes and where the freedom is in their life. Nightmares, after all they did, for the unseen, for the monsters and adversaries who never met. They would know all too well. You would be that for the dear, for the simply, for the enduring, and absolutely, for the despising of you, for the acting if you cared at all, for the left to go with the vows and if you call me, for the body and me, for the damn, for all I know, for the ignorance and you kill that cat. That curiosity is bliss. Walking through the alley with his maintained, but full of rats and doesn't really matter anyway. Republican, Democrat, for this is the dim. Damn if you don't, damn if you do, damn if you don't, for the only the rain is so beautiful. And she said, I can find those windows of the face. And when you tell me to the midst of the gods and hearing that all the crushing with the front and the vanish and the smile, you know you find a destination in the exile. You request me to sing a song for the hero, hearing that for the half of the cup for the tongue that tries and groan. What is the other half of the rest of the piece of finding my leg and bones? And when you tell me, see this world with love for the hearing, the eyes and try to open your empty orbits. No grief, salty tears, no more for the sea, for the barbecues. This is what to be, want to be heard, for the feeling of a boy when I was in there. Not for this to be the love, for left to be the clean, for not to say there, for the window to the attic, and you can follow the closely to live with the mattress in the middle of the room and let you lay with. Play down for the pulling of the covers into your bodies and let them in for the kissing of the lips and not the consent. Act to sit next to, next for the city for the weeks, but not to kept the roping, but my butt for this to be the consent for the what you have and finally inviting me not to say yes, but weeping until you find the stuff for the pulling out for the pants. Pulling down, this is the force down for what you can find in panties and different on the third grade for different trust that for the base off of the real events. It would be not to be heard, demise of the soul. They get to become more predictable than the self, and this is the only for the times I leave for the laugh and the beats and 100,000 thoughts and half of the weakness inside of the bubble, the easy to pop, and the strength and the faith in the way for the giant to crop. You can vacate the house with the hiding and the memories of the getting down, deformed for the falling in the debris from what you can find. Hush, door creeps, peek into the past and what you find ahead for the knowing to where at least not afraid to die now. Darkest with the home of the dead and I envy the morning to plan with the safe to see me. Safe place where I send myself like a helicopter to wind howl, bending trees and towards no tracking and making changes. Never thought that for the world could be because of your laughter. When you can hide the pale eyes and wrinkle between your smile, please.
She said she loved but this to be what you mean. She said she loved but this to be what you mean. She said she loved but this to be what you mean. For this to be addicted to all. It doesn't care. It doesn't revolve for the frame, heartbeat for the rain, for the heartbeat, the rain, for the heartbeat, the rain, for the heartbeat, the pain, the heartbeat, the rain.
She said she loved, but this to be what you mean for this to be addicted to all. It doesn't care. It doesn't revolve for the frame, heartbeat for the rain, for the heartbeat, the rain, for the heartbeat, the rain, for the heartbeat, the pain, the heartbeat.
All right, here we go. Everybody, get on up. You better get up. Take the rail off the floor. We gonna groove right here a little bit more. Do your stuff. Don't be so rough, but you gotta be tough when you do your stuff. Hey! Look at that preacher over there, doing his stuff. You better dig him. He's a dog. The way he does is funky stuff. You better ready up. He's right. So cool. You can ready. Nobody's cool. Keep doing his stuff. The real stuff. He never stopped until he get enough. Hey! Hey there, get on there and do your stuff. Did you hear what I said?
I said it.
Hey girl, get on there, do your stuff. You better get up.
Like it was the wrong thing.
Don't worry.
Like it was the only thing you could do. Like it was a chore, something like that. You had a chore for a chore. Felt like it was yours. You made it for a chore. Chore for the chore. You chose.
Do your stuff. You look real sick. There's a hot thing, so early in the morning, when I get up out the bed, I turn the radio on and listen to a soul song. They're ready to turn me on. They're ready to turn me on. I like to do it in the morning. I like to do it in the evening. In the middle of the night. Anytime you like. Do your stuff. You sure are tough. Thanks, man. Take your stand. I wanna hear you talk. I wanna hear you walk. Get that rail. I said get that rail. Get that rail. Give me some soul. That's it. Suck it right in the ear. Walking man. Come on in. Just don't scream. It's all about me. Hard.
It's not patience, it's simple sense of you don't feel the nails on you. Hard for the breathing, air for the heart, air for the breathing. Breathe inside yourself like a bar. You are a star, you feel breathing. Breathing so you in. Only imagination will allow it. Never entertain anything within your container. It's only a part that your content, everyone only hold it down.
Is everybody ready? Yeah! Alright, here we go. Everybody, get on out and do your stuff. Did you hear what I say? I said everybody, get on out and do your stuff. You better get up. Take the rail off the floor. We're gonna
You got to be tough.